Hi, this is Kate from Blackstone Valley Veggie Gardens, and I wanted to give you some pointers, or at least tell you how I start my peppers, um, eggplant, and tomato plants. I do so from seed every year because I live on the Massachusetts-Rhode Island border, and we can't really plant peppers, tomatoes, and eggplant from seed outdoors because our season is not warm enough or long enough in order to accommodate that. So we have to plant them from seed indoors. And I start them indoors um, at around the middle of March. So I'm going to be doing so today. So what I did was I took some material, seed starter material, which is very mild, and it doesn't have anything in it that's going to burn the seeds and stop them from germinating. What I used was something called, let me grab the bag. There it is. Seed starter mix. You see it? That's what I used. But the seed starter mix is expensive. So what I do is I mix it with good old-fashioned dryer lint. What you're looking for in seed starter material is you're looking for something very mild that's not going to burn the plant as it comes up. Now, when you plant a seed, it obviously has a husk around the seed. And obviously, when the plant comes up, you might wonder what happens to that husk. Well, that husk actually turns to fertilizer and it feeds the plant during the first part of the plant's life. And because of that, it doesn't need any special fertilizer. It needs heat and it needs a little bit of water. But it does not need a lot of water because it will drown. So the soil, I'm going to show you what it looks like. Here it is. So here's the seed starter mix. Okay. It's made with peat. I'm sure it's got perhaps some vermiculite in it. But it's very airy. And that's what you want as well in a seed starter mix. You want something that's going to allow the roots to grow so they can withstand being in that little pot that you put them in. And I will show you that little pot. Another interesting thing is the plants that you are putting in there do not need light. Believe it or not, they don't. In order to plant from seed peppers, eggplants, and tomatoes, they do need a considerable amount of heat, not light. Once they sprout, they will use some light, and they need a good source of light. This is why you need some decent lighting. If you don't have a very bright window or what have you, you should get some lights. The best ones are probably, unfortunately, the most expensive ones, but I use a variety of lights depending upon the plant I'm trying to grow. But the secret to it is if you don't have a very bright light, you have to have the light source above the plant, like this, you see? Right here. It's very close to the plant themselves, this light. And as the plants grow, you move the light fixture up so that the plants don't burn. But in any case, before that, you will see that I have my plants first of all, I grow several types of plants. As you can see, my chart, and everything's charted out. It has to be because I have 72 plants growing. I have 5 cherry tomatoes, Tigerella toms, Roma tomatoes, San Marzanos, beefsteak, lipstick peppers, sweet banana peppers, jalapenos, black beauty eggplant, and I have them all designed here. And I'll show you why. Because this is what I'm growing them in. I'm growing them in a Jiffy pot, starting them here, as you can see. So, and you can see if you can see nice condensation on there. That condensation means that the heat from the heat mat, which is under here, is warming up this tray, and it's creating condensation, which means it's a closed effect, which means it's like it's raining on the inside, and it's keeping all the plants warm, and it's keeping them hydrated as well. So once they start sprouting up, I planted them earlier. Once they start planting them up, coming up, what I will do is I will transplant them into little cups. And the little cups I use are basically, let me just show you one. They look like this. They're made of peat. And I transplant them from those little squares to the peat cups. And once they have the second set of leaves, each plant will come up with a leaf, a couple of leaves, but that doesn't mean that that's the leaves, that the true leaves. Those are the special leaves that come up initially, and they come up initially in order to help the little seedling push through the ground. But once they have the second set of leaves, it's actually known as the true set of leaves. Then I can transplant them from that little seed starter tray into the peat pots. And when I plant them, what I do is, when I plant them in the ground, what I do is I plant them right in those peat pots. And I make sure that there's none of that little peat pot sticking up from the ground when I bury it. Because when I bury it, it will dry up more easily if I don't bury the whole peat pot. Sometimes I rip the outside of the peat pot, peel it back so that all the exposed peat, there's no exposed peat pot when I bury it. So I'm not sure what I forgot to tell you. Oh, yeah, when it's in the peat pot, you have to spray it periodically with the water. I just really cleaned out this container that used to contain, this bottle used to contain glass cleaner. Obviously, we don't want that on our plants. So, that's it for today.